else thinks, what would it be? He said he wanted to start his own business, a tech company. But he was afraid of disappointing his parents, of his girlfriend leaving him, and of his friends thinking he was abandoning them. I told Tom what I'm telling you. At the end of the day, you're the one who has to live with your choices. You're the one who has to, and that's a fair question. But here's the thing. By focusing on yourself and becoming the best version of yourself, you actually become more valuable to others. You have more to offer. You're happier, more fulfilled. And that positive energy radiates out to everyone around you. Think about it this way. When you're on an airplane, what do they tell you about the oxygen masks? Put your own on first before helping others. Why? Because if you pass out trying to help someone else, you're no good to anyone. The same principle applies to life. So how do we start focusing on ourselves? Well, it begins with self-awareness. You need to really understand who you are, what you want, and what your values are. And let me tell you, this isn't always easy. We're so used to defining ourselves by our relationships. You can't make decisions based on keeping people in your life. You can't compromise your dreams, your values, your integrity just to make others comfortable, because if you do, you'll end up resenting them and resenting yourself. Instead, you need to have the courage to be true to yourself, pursue your passions, live your purpose, and trust that the right people will be there to support you along the way. Now, I can already hear some of you thinking, what if I lose everyone? What if I end up alone? And I get it. That fear of loneliness, of rejection, it's powerful. It's primal. But let me tell you something. It's better to be alone for the right reasons than in bad company for the wrong ones. Besides, when you're truly focused on yourself, on your growth, on your goals, you're never really alone. You have yourself. And let me tell you, there's no better company than a self you respect, a self you're proud of. So how do we maintain this focus on ourselves in a world that's constantly demanding our attention, our energy, our time? Well, it takes discipline. It takes commitment. It takes daily practice. Start exercise, read something inspiring. Whatever it is, make sure you're starting your day by connecting with yourself, with your goals, with your purpose. Throughout the day, check in with yourself. Are your actions aligned with your goals? Are you making choices that serve your highest good? Are you saying yes to things that matter and no to things that don't? End your day with yourself too. Reflect on what you've accomplished, what you've learned, what you can improve. Celebrate your wins, no matter how small. Learn from your setbacks. Here's a crucial point. Be patient with yourself. Growth takes time. Change doesn't happen overnight. There will be days when you slip back into old patterns. When you find yourself seeking approval from others, when you lose sight of your goals, that's okay. It's part of the process. The important thing is to recognize it, learn from it, and get back on track. Remember, focusing on yourself isn't about being perfect. It's about being authentic. It's about being true to who you are and who you want to become. All right, let's talk about boundaries. When you start focusing on yourself, you'll need to set clear boundaries with others. This isn't about building walls or pushing people away. It's about defining what's acceptable and what's not in your life. It's about protecting your time, your energy, and your dreams. Now, many of us struggle with saying no. We worry about disappointing others, missing out, or being seen as selfish. But here's the truth. Every time you say yes to something that doesn't align with your goals or values, you're saying no to something that does. Think about that for a moment. Every hour you spend doing something you don't really want to do is an hour you're not spending on your dreams, your growth, your purpose. So start practicing saying no. It might feel uncomfortable at first. You might feel guilty. But remember, you're not saying no to others. You're saying yes to yourself. And that's something to be proud of. When you start setting these boundaries and saying no more often, you'll notice something interesting. Some people won't like it. They've gotten used to you always being available, always saying yes, always putting their needs first. When that changes, they might push back. This is where the people come and go part of our talk really comes into play. As you set these boundaries and start prioritizing your own needs and goals, some people might choose to leave your life. That can be painful, it can be scary, but it's also necessary. Not everyone is meant to stay in your life forever. Some people are there for a reason, some for a season, and only a few for a lifetime, and that's okay. That's part of the journey. The people who truly care about you, who truly support your growth and happiness, they'll respect your boundaries. They'll understand that you need to focus on yourself. They might not always like it, but they'll respect it. And those are the people you want to keep close. As for the others, sometimes letting go is the most loving thing you can do, both for yourself and for them. By letting them go, you're giving them the opportunity to find people who align better with their needs and expectations. And you're giving yourself the space to attract people who align with the person you're becoming. Now let's talk about something that often gets overlooked when we discuss focusing on ourselves. I'm not just talking about bubble baths and face masks, although those can be nice. I'm talking about real, deep, meaningful self-care. This includes taking care of your physical health, eating nutritious foods, getting regular exercise, and getting enough sleep. Because let's face it, if you're not physically healthy, it's hard to focus on anything else. It includes taking care of your mental health, managing stress, processing emotions, seeking help when you need it. Mental health is just as important as physical health, maybe even more so. It includes nurturing your spirit, whatever that means for you. Maybe it's through prayer or meditation. Maybe it's through spending time in nature. Maybe it's through creating art or music. Whatever feeds your soul, make time for it. Here's something that might surprise you. Self-care also includes challenging yourself, pushing yourself out of your comfort zone, learning new skills, and facing your fears. Growth isn't always comfortable, but it's always worth it. As you focus on yourself, set boundaries, and practice self-care, you'll start to notice changes. You'll become more confident, more self-assured. You'll have a clearer sense of who you are and what you want. And this is where things get really exciting. When you're clear about who you are and what you want, when you're confident in your own skin, you start attracting different opportunities, different people. You start seeing possibilities that you might have missed before. The world responds to the energy you put out. When you're focused on yourself, living authentically, you radiate a different kind of energy. And that energy is magnetic. It draws in the right people, the right opportunities, the right experiences. But here's the catch. You have to be open to receiving them. You have to be willing to step into your power and embrace these new opportunities, these new relationships. That can be scary because it means leaving your comfort zone, taking risks, and being vulnerable. But let me tell you, it's worth it. Because on the other side of that fear, discomfort and vulnerability is growth, fulfillment, and a life lived on your own terms. Now let's address something that often comes up when we talk about focusing on ourselves. The fear of being seen as selfish. Our society often equates self-focus with selfishness, but they're not the same thing at all. Selfishness is about taking from others, about putting your needs above everyone else's at all times. Focusing on yourself, on the other hand, is about becoming the best version of yourself so that you have more to give to others. Think about it this way. If you're constantly depleted, stressed, and trying to please everyone else, what do you really have to offer? But when you're fulfilled, living your purpose, and taking care of yourself, you have so much more to give. You're more present in your relationships, more effective in your work, and more capable of making a positive impact on a life that's truly extraordinary. Thank you.